I was a senior in high school, about a month from graduating, when I invited Jesus into my heart. I had a friend that had been pestering me all my senior year to attend church with her, and finally, to get her off my back, I did. And there I heard the age-old story of my own sin, realizing my own separation from God and what Christ offered us in his crucifixion and resurrection. And it was just a few weeks later that I invited Jesus into my heart. That summer, I had my first real experience with answered prayer. My father had died the year before in a car accident, and that following year, my mother had had a very difficult time and succumbed to terrific alcoholism. So that summer, without much grace towards my mother, I asked the Lord to just end that. And amazingly, within about 4 or 6 weeks, whenever she drank, if she had more than one glass of alcohol, she became violently ill. Well, as a new believer, that just blew me away that God would love me enough to answer this prayer. And that cemented for me trusting God. However, over the next 10 years, in retrospect, what I see I did was I really didn't trust God. I thought, once he gets to know me, he's going to give up on me. Whereas, in fact, he knew me better than I knew myself. Somewhere in my late 20s, I realized that I really was trusting God, because over that 10 years, he'd answered prayer. He had corrected me. He had brought loving people into my life. He'd opened the Word to me so that I could understand many of those things. And one of the verses that meant a lot during that time was in Romans chapter 8, where Paul tells us that nothing can separate us from the love of God. That sort of became, for a decade or two, my life verse, because I knew not only the things that Paul lists that could not separate me from God, but I couldn't separate me from God. Wherever I went, he was with me. That then allowed me to grow in a lot of other ways and come to know him better.